I'm here in our rotunda of the Nottingham Spirk Innovation Center here in Cleveland, and I want to talk a little bit about innovation in the area in the time of pandemic. My client partners are asking me, well, how do I react to this thing? It's unprecedented, and I always say, if you go to the next slide. There we go. There's only two choices. You can react, you can be reactive and say, let's batten down the hatches, let's just ride this thing out, let's just, shore up our resources. Or the other choice is be proactive. And my advice is to be proactive. Go into the storm. Take advantage of the new opportunities that you deal with your customers. And so people ask me, okay, innovation during a pandemic, isn't that risky? Well, a lot of CEOs think innovation is risky because the national average of commercialization of innovation ideas is about 5%, and that is really risky. What we have done over our careers here is to form a process that we call vertically integrated innovation. Now, what is that? It is innovation by one group, a large group that takes an idea from the cultivation of the idea all the way to commercialization relentlessly. And we do it in an inspirational setting, like I have here, but we have a team that goes all the way through from start to finish. And if you do that, 5% turns into 95%. In other words, the ones that we agree to do, we have a 95% successful commercialization rate. And I'm going to tell you the secrets of how that's done. So if we go to the next one. Every one of you, if you have a business, you have a customer. Whether you have a product business or you have a service business, you have a customer. And I guarantee that customer today is thinking something totally different than it was even 4 months ago. You have to know what that customer is thinking. What's their pain points? What are their opportunities? What are they thinking? What are they thinking about what your products or services are doing with them? So what we do in our innovation center is we have an in-house focus group room, and I want to take your customer, the customer of our client partners, and focus them, bring them into a conference room with our moderators. And I want you and our designers, our engineers, our CRMs to take a look at that customer, and they may. The funny thing is, they may not tell you, but you have to. We have ways of getting information from them, and we read the body language, we look at the pain points, and we gather reams of information of what they're thinking now. Go to the next one. And so, vertical innovation goes to a series of different kinds of immersive workshops. The first one we call the diverging workshop. We get a focus team together of our group and our client partners group. And we just have this diverging means there's no bad ideas. We think mild to wild. Well, what's mild? Well, mild is something sort of incremental. Okay, get out of the way. Now, what's the most wild thing you can do to solve this problem? I don't even care if the technology doesn't work. What's wild? And you literally, with this kind of a session, you come up with hundreds of ideas, and that's wonderful. And by the end of the session, everybody is physically and emotionally exhausted. Go to the next one. Then the following day, you do another type, a totally different kind of workshop. This we call the converging workshop. Because we're not going to be able to commercialize 100 ideas. We have to converge into ones that are going to make sense today, that are practical to go forward relentlessly. So One of the techniques we use to do that is everybody has 3 note cards. One note card says, who cares? Another one says, nice. The other says, wow. So one person sort of takes the lead and says, here's my idea. Now, everybody put your note cards up. If everybody's note card says, who cares? Forget it. It's not going to work. If everybody says, wow, boy, wow is a emotional word. And that's going to be great. The worst one is nice, because there's too many nice products out there, but I can't get excited about nice. So throw that off the table and only go with your wows. Go to the next one. Then you have to have a team that relentlessly, seamlessly takes those wows and goes into, if it's a product, you go into design, engineering, prototyping, you fast track to commercialization. You go to the next one. And you have a branding strategy. Today you have a digital Internet of Things strategy. You have a go-to-market strategy. Everybody's working in concert. It's like an orchestra. And this team is working, again, relentlessly, seamlessly to a goal, and that goal is commercialization. Go to the next one. And I encourage you to build a continuous, relentless process and culture. Innovation is not something we're going to do on Thursday. Innovation is something we do every single day. You build it into your culture. You need innovation. The best way to grow is innovation. The best way to grow profitably is innovation, but you have to understand it. You can't be afraid of it. And if you do it vertically integrated, it can be very, very effective. Go to the next one. So I want to, in the time I have left, I want to give you concrete examples of vertical innovation. How did we use that process, and what was the result? First, what I'm going to talk about is we have now 1,300 patents. Of those patents, if you go to the patent office, only 5% of patents ever get commercialized. Our 1,300 patents, 95% are commercialized. And some of those patents are the spin brush. We started the spin brush with vertical innovation, looking at the consumer. At the time, electric toothbrushes were thought of as being better than manual, but they were expensive. They were $100 and so forth. So we found out a very small percentage of consumers were going to spend that. But they said, gee, if you make it a price point that's close to a manual, man, I'm going to try that. And so, a long story short, we figured it out. We launched the spin brush and sold it to Procter & Gamble. It became the largest selling toothbrush in the world. And we've sold nearly 1 billion of them, hundreds of millions of dollars in sales. That's the kind of result that vertical innovation can bring. You want to go to the next one? This is relatively new. You may have heard this advertised, but this is looking at nasal irrigation for those who have sinusitis, have any snoring problems, any issues with the nose. We launched this as a venture company called Navage, and it is a nasal irrigator. It's the fastest growing product in the nasal category. We've already sold over 1 million. It's pretty neat. Go to the next one. And from a pricing strategy, the spin brush was, mass market. You don't always have to go low pricing. So in this case, we have a premium strategy. We have a technology of 2 separate formulas that this bottle has 2 separate bottles, and it only mixes when you're ready to use it. It's active for 30 seconds, and it gives you 24-hour fresh breath. It is the fastest growing product in the premium mouthwash category. You buy it anywhere, right next to the spin brushes. Next one. And in this age of social distancing, this came on the scene this year. It was voted the top technology in golf by Golf Magazine. It's a robot that carries your clubs. So you can walk, you don't have to, you can enjoy yourself on the golf course. Next one. And not to get too technological, but quite often we start with a proof of concept technology from a university. In this case, this was a technology from Case Western Reserve. It was a proof of concept, but it looked like a torture device. It was 15 pounds. It actually did the job of producing a digital map of the heart for a cardiologist and can replace catheterization. But what we did is took it from the proof of concept to commercialization in record time, went through a clinical trial, and ended up selling it to Medtronic for $120 million. And it's saving lives and is making heart issues a lot safer and more effective for consumers. And next one. I'll end on this one because this is very apropos to the pandemic. So we invented this product. It was a technology that was created at Cornell University, but it's a technology for disinfecting things like electronics, blood pressure cuffs, pens, name tags, anything that causes hospital-acquired infection. And we were on the fast track to commercialization when the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden you have COVID-19. Gee, does it? So the pivot we made was, does it work on COVID-19? So we tested on COVID-19, and lo and behold, boy, does it ever kill COVID-19. So we're fast tracking it through the EPA. We just got notification that we're allowed, and by the end of this year, this will be on the market. It's focused first on hospitals and clinics. It's going to eventually be in other places, including the home. And this is the way you can disinfect things very inexpensively and effectively. And I think that might be my time, but if anybody ever wants to talk to me about vertical innovation, my email address is jnottingham@nottinghamspirk.com.